Oh my goodness, look at those duckies. Ah, there's the young duck. See, that one's a male duck. See what he sounds like? Hello. That's the sound a male duck makes. These are females. Females, hi guys, hi gals. See, the females make a different sound. They're like a Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is something related to that concept of entropy. Now, I noticed when I was going through the yard, I found this little black olive tree. What is a black olive tree? It's a tree that grows here in South Florida. Oh, here comes the other Mr. Duck. Looks like he's going to fight. Anyway, this reminds me of one that I planted when I was a kid, around 1979, I think it was, or 1980. And I want to look at it now. And there it is. You've probably seen this tree before. And by the way, this cactus, that was originally a little house plant that we got from either Burdines or Gold Triangle. Anyway, here's the tree. Look at this thing. This is my hand up against the tree. It's a big, big tree. Now notice there's leaves all over the ground. Look at all the leaves. So here's a couple of questions you might want to think about. That tree went from a small, less complex form to a much bigger, much more complex form. And if you don't believe that's the tree, here's some sprouts coming out of it. You can see the leaves are the same. Now, according to the second law of thermodynamics, or entropy, everything should just decay. For example, these Christmas trees that somebody threw away that I still haven't processed yet, they still look like a tree, but look, they're just falling apart. Over time, all these leaves will break off and they'll break down into what's basically soil, like you see here. See? All that material becomes soil. But yet, this continues to grow. How can that be? Well, it's very simple. All plants, no matter what type they are getting a constant source of reduced entropy from a higher energy state. We call that the sun, the big nuclear reactor in the sky. Now here is the 1977 Dodge Aspen that my mother used to drive around in. It's been sitting for a while. It doesn't look anything like when it was new. When it was new, it was beige and it had like a fake wood or whatever. It's had primer. Look at the door coming apart. Look at the whole thing is just rusted out. Basically a piece of junk. So what happened? Well, this is something that was made by humans. And as you can see, because of just age, it's rusting away. There's nothing really left of it. It's only good for parts. I'm going to take a Sawzall to this and cut it up. I'm going to use it as parts for some of my other Mopars. But it's been sitting here. And as you can see, this is an example of entropy in action. This vehicle was never as good as the day it came out of the factory. And ever since then, it's been slowly decomposing. Even the door handles, you can see they're corroded. Even the chrome bumpers, although the chrome hasn't gone bad. Look at the rust behind it. Complete junk. Uh-oh. Speaking of entropy, look at what's going on out here. You know what that is? Have you ever seen duck mating? Well, there's duck mating in action. Anyway, yep. Everything else in this yard, for example, this orange tree, its fruits, and the ducks working on making more ducklings. This whole system is powered by energy from the sun. All that radiation that comes from space, it goes through a simple process of photosynthesis. But you'll notice that no matter what, even if you let this thing go, it just turns into a jungle. Some parts break down, up, and other parts get made. I see Mr. Ducky. Well, he's put his seed in Mrs. Duck. She can go to her nest and lay more eggs. Look at that little ducky with a little weenie. Okay, quackers. They're all watching. Anyway, and look, see all these little seedlings that are coming up? These plants, they produce fruit, which drops seeds. The seeds grow. And what do we end up with? More plants. It's all a very basic system that can be very complex. The idea is basic, but the execution of it is very complex. Notice that the plants that are here in the shade don't do as well because they don't have enough of that solar energy. So again, although entropy, we can see it in action with things that we built, even the house, slowly decomposing, deteriorating, rotting. That's the way it is. But in the natural world, that is renewed. All that stuff that decomposes ends up back into the new life. Or like them. So again, this is a principle that's everywhere, and it's something we can learn from. Instead of being so stubborn and being so much of a know-it-all, it's always good to just kind of take a look around and observe how the natural world works, because it can teach us a lot about our own world.